Hi, Kathleen Gammon here with ClearSight Compliance and Analytics Solutions. ClearSight Compliance provides businesses with an ability to capture, organize, manage, and leverage their information through application of technology. We provide consulting services and implementation services. Today, we're going to be focused on our analytics capability. That is, how do you leverage the information you have on hand? Specifically, we're going to look at an offering that Dr. Kate and I, Kathleen and Kate, are offering, and it's a profile of your customer or member base. We will look at what that process is, both in terms of what do you provide and what do we do with it. We'll look at what kind of results you could expect and some of the concepts that are applicable. In the pre-analysis steps, all we really do is ask for you to provide us with your member or client information. And it can be as basic as the business name, contact name, street address, city, state, and zip. We do a quality assurance of deduplicating those, establish whether it is passing the U.S. Postal Service standards for a valid address, and then we use whatever the matched records are to determine a geographic footprint. That is, where are your clients? And it's whether it's locally here in the United States or anywhere around the world, really. I'm going to give you a simple illustration. So let's say we've taken your customer list. You're a small business and you have a very finite geographic area. We are going to determine here with any of the red dots, pincushion or small. These are all businesses that exist in that geography. The pincushions may be your specific clients, but it's also worthwhile looking at where are you not in the universe and doing a comparison so that you understand how you benchmark against that representative universe. To illustrate, you always are going to have more records that you provide us, and there'll be some records at the end of it and a difference between those two, a smaller number, of course. That difference provides us with a confidence score that we'll share with you so you can understand how solidly you can rely on those results. Not just the information that you have is needed to provide the analysis that we need, of course. We enrich the information you provide us, complements of NTRA's powerful data and technology platform. And that is what enables the patterns to emerge, as well as understanding the universe where you currently don't have a presence. So to illustrate a little bit, you give us name, street, city, state, zip. And in the case that you have a business, we can derive how many employees, what are the SIC code representations, what are the annual revenues in years in business. Or for consumers, what are the number of people in that particular household? Other demographic, psychographic information. One thing that's popular now is something called a wealth score. We take that enriched data store and then we analyze it and apply mathematics. And that allows us to find nuggets of information, either new ahas or the data confirming your gut feel of your customer base. Now, one step is looking just at your customer base and understanding what proportion of your clients, for example, have annual revenues of $500,000 a year or less. And this can be valuable to understand the composition of your own client base. Also valuable, however, is understanding what that looks like versus the rest of the universe. So if you think back to the other slide where we had all the small dots, what's the proportion of those small dots that have annual revenues of $500,000 or less? And we see that there's a greater proportion where I don't currently have a presence that fits that category. There are also going to be areas where I'm outperforming the rest of the universe. These are important items to note. It's not always good or bad in and of itself, but important to understand where you best play today. Another important aspect is the geographic component. It can be a strong indicator or a strong influence of who your clients are, and we'll want to look at that. We can make comparisons by number of employees. There is a strong correlation, by the way, between a business's number of employees and the annual revenues. If you're able to provide us with past client information, we can do a comparison of what had been the case and what was. And if you're not playing in the B2B world, there are similar consumer groupings that we can use. So in this example, who are my environmentally conscious buyers? How do my environmentally conscious buyers benchmark against the rest of the universe? Which of my clients prefer to be contacted through electronic means? That can be a very important part of your marketing strategy and understanding how many dollars to allocate where. I mentioned a wealth score being an important component now versus just income levels for consumers. Wealth takes into account not just the income, but things such as the asset base. In sum, what we're trying to help you do is understand your customers, members, or clients as they exist today. Understand that in comparison to the rest of the universe. How do you benchmark against what might be out there? It helps you identify opportunities for growth, spot golden nuggets, as I put it, and then align some of those findings with your marketing plans, your sales plans, even your strategic planning. Call us for a free consultation. We're glad to talk with you about it and identify if it could be of value to you. You could visit us online, call us toll-free from the contact page of our website, or email me directly. Call me directly, 513-300-3272. I thank you for taking the time to learn more about the ClearSight Profiler.